Florida Mutineers, that roster just seems like a group of guys that were the outcast. And just by the looks of this roster, I'm a little worried. Skies and Mox too slow for this team.
FaZe upon FaZe get the kill!
They are just so good.
Florida in the driving seat to close this series out. Pristini, stop it! Stop missing! Florida close it out!
FaZe and the Mutineers, today's grand final.
We've definitely proven ourselves. I'm excited to go up against FaZe.
It's by 3!
It's the Florida Mutineers and they all double for Pristini again!
We've got FaZe taking on Mutineers. It is a revenge match.
Now let's take a look at the game fuel keys to victory. We're going to start off with the champs, the Atlanta FaZe. Joe, break it down.
Yeah, I mean, it's right, focus on that domination. That's the only crack in their armor. We saw, right? I mean, obviously they've only lost a few maps throughout this year, but they've had some close dominations. That's where they've dropped a map. So yeah, just focus on that game through. That's the swing map. We always know that that can decide the series.
It's hard to find a weakness. They've lost one hard point, one search, but 2 dominations. So that's the weakness.
That's the weakness.
One bit.
Yeah, focus on that game.
Yeah. No, that's true. We'll see if they can improve it. But now let's take a look at the other side of the stage, the keys to victory, presented by Game Fuel for your Florida Mutineers. And it'll be interesting to see how these break down because it's a different squad, right? Pristini's not here. It has to make it difficult to pinpoint exactly how this team's going to be this weekend.
Yeah, continue that strong play in Search and Destroy. I think that's what got them into a grand final at the Atlanta home series. They clutched up in game 5s, and Skies needs to keep slaying. I mean, he has to continue to be that consistent player that this team can rely on. When we look at this Florida roster, you see a ton of inconsistencies, but Skies has to be that #1 guy for them.
Well, those are the keys to victory. Now let's take a look at the U.S. Air Force quick scope as we take a quick glance at these 2 squads as they get ready to do battle. Well, the 6-0 match record looks good for FaZe.
Yeah, again, right? They've only dropped 4 games, 70 points, 6-0. On the other side, this is what I'm talking about. You talk about the Search and Destroy for Florida. Look at how scrappy they play. Look at the game record, 15-16. These guys go the distance every single time. So, yeah, for Florida, the key is truly you have to win the Search and Destroys if you want to advance.
Now it's time for the U.S. Air Force maps and modes. Joe will run through this and see how they match up. But Petro, I believe, a rematch from the grand final.
Yeah, Petro, map #1, right? Atlanta FaZe is able to win that one by over 100 points. They're going to be feeling good on that one. Take a look at Gunrunner domination. We didn't see that a lot in Atlanta home series. We know from week to week that vetoes are going to switch on up. And I mean, we talk about Florida and winning Search and Destroy, but we also know they're playing with Pharaoh, a brand new player, and we know how systematically that can really change things.
Well, how much, I guess, does their previous matchup even matter? Like, when you come in with a new player, I know it's 5v5 and maybe one player's less of an impact than it could have been in the past, but it's hard to harp on the previous matchup at all, right?
Yeah, it's just tough, right? We're not exactly sure what Florida we are going to get. And I think one of the big focus points for Florida would be sort of, can you handle the SMG duo on the Atlanta side? But without Pristini here, it's going to be difficult.
So if you are the coaching side for Mutineers and the players that are around Pharaoh, what do you tell him? Just like, go out and do your thing.
I think the entire roster, right? The pressure's kind of off. With how quickly that the substitution came in right before the event, it's just sort of play our game, have some fun. If you guys go off, hey, maybe something will happen.
I guess I viewed this partially as a trap game for FaZe even before the change because they just smoked them in the grand final. They're coming in the best team in the game. Now they have a team swap. Pristini's not there. Mr. Passion Pit himself is not on the lineup. Does it become even more of a trap game for them?
Yeah, I think so. And we even saw it in Atlanta. That there was a few times they were in a tough spot in a series, but they always brought it back, right? That's what's just so difficult, is taking these guys deep in a series.
Well, we're going to start off with a hard point. We're taking a look at the Team KD overall. Joe, not surprising to see FaZe sitting amongst the top.
Yeah, and then Minnesota right behind them. Minnesota, again, I think for a lot of people, a good chance to make a grand final this weekend. Seattle Surge, that may surprise some people, coming in at #4. Haven't seen them play in a while, but excited to see them with their new sub.
Well, I think your instinct would be, why aren't Huntsmen maybe at #2? But they just had a lot tougher matchups. Like, what was our big talk about Minnesota kind of coming into last week? They had some easy matches at Minnesota back to kick off the season. if you're Huntsman, you just played FaZe a lot, you played Empire a lot. Like, it's tough
not
to
even
keep those
that.
stats
It's
aside.
that even their last, what, like 3-4 matches, their hard point has struggled.
I think they went from 6-0 to 3-5.
Yeah, that was like your favorite stat that you kept bringing up. So yeah, I mean, that is something they definitely have to fix.
Well, we're heading to Petrol Map 1. I want to take a look at a bird's eye view of it. For those of you maybe not familiar with how this map plays, that'll run you through the order of our hard points.
Yeah, and I think when we talk about really the start of the map, you're going to see right away, right? Because we go from number 1 to number 2, that right side spawn, whoever has that side of the map immediately has an advantage. First of all, it's easier to get in the first hill. You already have the rotation a second. It's like that for the most part, right? So we'll really be touching on, can you flip those spawns?
It'll be interesting to see how this one plays out, but just a reminder that FaZe dominated this last time. I think it was approximately a 120-point victory, which in Modern Warfare is that's almost like winning by 200 in previous titles. Like, you are smoking someone with that kind of victory. I guess for the side of Mutineers, maybe you can go back at that, look at things you can fix, but then you also have a new squad here with no Pristini. So I think this series is just a question mark for us on a lot of fronts, but heavily favoring FaZe, obviously.
I think if Florida wants to somehow take this series, you're just looking at the individuals to, like, guys like Frosty, guys like Pharaoh, who you know have superstar potential to take over the game. And we know how tough that is because all 5 players on the other side of the stage are the best at what they do. So it's just a tough matchup right from the start.
I'm just surprised that, you know, Pharaoh got in too when you have a superstar on your bench like Maniac.
Yeah.
Shocked not to see him filling in.
I'm going to be honest. I was like, you're right. Yeah, no, I was so confused at first. I was like, Major Maniac's on Atlanta. I was so confused. I was like, what are you talking about? I forgot, yeah.
Oh, well, there you see. Major Maniac on your screen. Some will joke that he's got the easiest job in the entire CDL when you got these 4 twisted tears running around in front of you. I think, I can't remember if it was Chance or JP that tweeted out the graphic of just the number of engagements he has versus like other
like
ARs.
80 versus like 65.
Yeah,
he's just hanging out.
No, he's chilling. He's putting in shots. He's leading the troops around, but he's been doing a great job. I spoke on contesting the point about who I thought. What was the question? It was like, is Pristini kind of the X factor?
Yeah.
Like, they win and die by him. And I thought that it more came down to Mox, Skies. Like, they're superstars because this has become a superstar league. Like, the teams that are winning absolutely have the talent, have the superstars, have the young talent. I think those are the guys. Like, I think Skies and Mox have the most potential to go toe-to-toe with FaZe. And I just don't think they can beat teams like that if they don't.
Well, I would argue it's probably Skies and Frosty, right?
Well, that's true. Frosty, too, yeah.
You just want to see him hit another level. But, yeah, again, if they're going to beat these guys individually, they all have to step up. And, yeah, I mean, first match, right? It's an early morning here. Maybe they could take advantage of that.
Well, we're about to get into it. Now, I think with Frosty, too, to your point, like, it took people that switched over from another title to enable your form. It took a little bit of time for them to really get comfortable and really take over the game. So I doubt we've seen the best from him, but it's time to kick off your home series event in Los Angeles. We're at the Shrine. We're another tournament deep, and we'll see who will be crowned champion. But the craziest part of all of it is our championship map from the previous event is your first match to start it off. Mutineers FaZe. Can Mutineers somehow with a new roster improve it in this best of 5?
And well, right away, I'm just looking at Atlanta spawning exactly where they want to. So you're going to see for Florida, from this point of view, they're going to have to stop right around here. You're going to see all the nades start to come in from Atlanta, and there we go. They get in the hard point, and they're just going to be able to get the position that they want.
Gives you those 2-3 seconds to get set up inside. Now, how can they opt to try and get a break on in? It is not going to be easy.
Now they're able to find 4 kills. They get them out of the hill. So, it looks like they've done it behind Skies and Frosty. Simp now trying to push through the middle of the street, disrupt those spawns, but it is all Florida in the kill feed right now. So you're going to see number 4, that's going to be Pharaoh. He's going to be the one trying to get top blue, maybe trying to flip those spawns. As Florida continues to rack up this time. But this is a big engagement right now. Can Pharaoh stay alive? You can see players are hunting for him, but Major Maniac, he's able to take him down. So, I mean, job well done, though, by Florida. You've gotten 30 seconds here right off that first one. Now it's going to focus on that rotation.
Yeah, maybe not any kind of flip, but the fact you're able to get so much time, just massive. And now with Frosty's kill, you'll be able to set up towards top blue, and that's the exact position he'll get in. Such a huge spot in the map with them trying to hit the cross over the street, but Skies is already set up inside, takes his one-on-one as the new hardpoint pops.
Yeah, new hardpoint pops. Frosty, though, with some solid position. Had the teammates to help him. But Major Maniac continues, and this is just what's so difficult. It is so tough to break it. Moss now starting to hit the back. And this could be the opening for Florida, but they have to be careful here because if they get stuck towards these back spawns as we rotate towards Hazmat, that's exactly what Atlanta wants. But they're getting the kills, and now they're executing on the hill.
Skies and Mox doing a great job to try and pick up this time. 20 seconds remaining as we'll now get a lead change in through in just a second as Frosty tries to go over the top with the kill feed. Lighten up for the Mutineers now. Who's been starting out hot? Frosty at 8-3, Mox on a 4 spree. He's at 6-2. Skies at 7-3. The 3 players we really just highlighted heading into this, the 3 that we think need to carry the slang load, they're doing that early.
They only have a 15-point lead. FaZe now going to get inside of that Hazmat. You had a slow start from Simp. He started 1-5 throughout this game, but on now to Florida's new player, Pharaoh. He starts to get inside, is able to find one, but there's just so many FaZe players inside. Frosty, he's able to continue though, just trying to do what he can, but does get taken down. Now FaZe, you can already see what they're doing. One player starting to push all the way through. I think that was Celium. He's able to sneak through for Pool Hall. A great play by him. That could flip the spawns, and they're locking the hill down as well.
Yeah, look at Celium just tucked away all the way on the other side of the map. Like, look at where he is playing in comparison to his teammates, and that could be huge over the next 20 seconds that they're able to win the fights, push out, and flip.
You see what Florida's doing, right? They have 3 players middle of the map just making sure that nobody gets through, but they don't know it already, that Celium's already in a great position. And I imagine when you don't see him in the kill feed for a while, somebody should be calling that out. So you have Frosty all the way back Pool Hall looking for it. Let's see now, what can Celium do, because he has his position.
It looks like Frosty was ready for it. I mean, he peeked back alley immediately, but I think he got horrible timing, and Celium is able to get in from behind.
Checks the wrong corner.
Yeah, he does. He actually runs right past Frosty, so Frosty the one to make the play. Him and Skies combined to take down 4, and in Pool Hall, at least with the opening, it will be Mutineers. So that's just big from Frosty and maybe unlucky from Celium, because things might have got out of control quickly there if you were able to rally those 2 hard points together. Let's see how long Mutineers are able to hold. As Sky's now up to double positive at 12-6.
Yeah, it's almost maybe a bit of a risky play from Celium. Like maybe he should have waited for his teammates just a few more seconds, because even if he wins that one-on-one, he had no help at that time.
Well, it's got to be frustrating too. You know, you basically put your team on 4-on-5 for 30 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, you sat there for a minute,
yeah,
right? Like that's what you're hoping for, but just not able to execute. So we're gonna rotate now towards Restaurant. Game basically tied up.
I think what's insane right now is that Simp is 3-9. I mean, statistically, he has been maybe the best player in the league. He's been absolutely insane. The top slaying SMG in the game at 3-9, and they still have a lead, I think is what's insane, because you got to think the Lions going to wake up at some point.
Yeah, right. Just waiting for Simp to sort of erupt, but that's what's great about this FaZe team. There's just no weakness. If someone's having a slow game, somebody else can step up. That's why you have guys like Abizi, Priesta, Major Maniac, all having great games in double digits, and they're locking this Restaurant hill down.
Major Maniac and Simp, they're able to hold the edge, and Simp maybe starts to get something going. It'll take 2 down in a row before he ends up falling. Now the lead is built. What was a tie game? About to be a 40-point advantage now for FaZe as they start to string it together. They lock down Restaurant. 5 seconds remaining here. Set up early. At your boxes will be Mutineers. They got him still spawning on Deep Riverside, and that's going to be 5 down in a row. As the big kills come in for Mutineers, now a chance to get right back into the game and chipping.
Yeah, you're seeing what FaZe is trying to do as well. They're trying to spread the map. They're trying to hit this hill from both sides. But as Florida's been able to lock it down, here comes a push now. You have 2 pushing towards Bay Archway. Another player going to start to hit towards Pool Hall, but those players, they don't want to lose the spawns for that second nail. Skies now, he's on a 5 spree, locking this one in. It's Florida, they're right back in this game. There's just no separation right now. The teams are responding when they have control, but here comes FaZe with a nice pinch. But it's Pharaoh inside the hill. The substitute's starting to go off.
Yeah, I mean, it's the big multi-kills, right? You saw Skies do it the first time in. Now it's Pharaoh trying to get it done. Major Maniac will get the last lap in that one-on-one. But there's the trade in from Havoc. Sorry, from Frosty. So the garbage time. There was like 13 or so points. You're going to pick that up. And this will be just almost exactly a tie game. They'll get the final second, so a 1-point lead for FaZe. But they've already put up more points than they did the last time they played this in the grand final of Atlanta.
And they still have some positioning around here as well. If Havoc can find himself or kill or two, maybe the rest of his teammates can get pushed up Røkkr, but you're going to see in the kill feed 5 go down. And now FaZe have Florida right where they want him. You have Sint in the middle of the map. He's starting to turn around now. He's on a 3 spree. This is what we talked about. As he starts to get going, what happens? And the assassination comes through, but Major Maniac takes him down. His teammate, he's going to end that assassination, so he sort of ruins that.
20 seconds on the hard point, a 20-second deficit for Mutineers as they try to bring it back. But as we head over to Hazmat, you can see set up early will be Atlanta FaZe. Mutineers trying to rally across mid-map through a restaurant. Several players spawning bottom for FaZe as now the collapse goes in. Tie game 167-167. A huge break opportunity now in the win for Mutineers as they can bust on through. The safe back spawn in for FaZe, but the contest now in for Mutineers. It's a bloodbath in Hazmat, and unfortunately for the Mutineers, the kills all seem to be going the way of FaZe.
Yeah, they're all going the way of FaZe. You do have Mox just trying to work towards mid-street around the Busted side, and he's able to find a few kills. And with that position, that'll allow his teammates to get pushed up, but they have to get in the hill, and that's a tough spot. With this hill, is now FaZe going to have about a 20-point lead, but here comes that contest, and Havoc, he's going to win a big one-on-one inside the hill, and they have them spawning towards his backside. This is not where Atlanta wants to be. They want to try to flip out of this with 20 seconds left.
Well, last time we saw Celium able to leak all the way across the map. That is not going to be the case this time. The early setup and pull for Mutineers. Frosty last time through. This time we'll see Skies get set up inside, who's been the double positive leader for this Mutineers team. Every time they've gone down 30-40, the next hard point they've rallied back in. They have to do it again. They've got to do it at least one more time. Otherwise, Priesta and FaZe might blow it open. Yeah, Priesta with the movement across mid-map will get cut down.
Yeah, but that's the thing, right? He's just middle of the map. That's where he's getting those kills. Is the pool hall spawn still there for Florida? Celium, he's trying to get aggressive, but this is going to allow them to smoke the front and get inside. Priesta, he's going to hit the side door. What did he find? It's Mox, who continues to play well for his team. 17-14 for him right now, but it's Celium, the MVP from Atlanta, as he starts to go up, but Havoc with 3 in a row, locking down pool hall.
Again, Mutineers answer as they look to rally into a lead change of their own. What a triple it was from Havoc. They continue to funnel in. This time, Major Maniac with a 2 big
with an M4.
Yeah, he's breaking like he gets a sub. Major Maniac with the play and enough to maintain the lead. He got another one with the nade. What a play from Major Maniac as the final seconds tick off a pool hall.
And we know that this was where FaZe did so well in that first rotation. They're inside a restaurant. They have this locked down. FaZe, they're going to have to break. Or sorry, Florida, they're going to have to break right now.
And that could be the difference, right? Instead of a tie game, it's a 20-point edge in transition for FaZe, all behind Major Maniac with the lights-out play. Mutineers in trouble. 20 points needed for FaZe as they funnel and fly and try to get in. Will they be able to do it? A team kill in for Priesta. But it's Simp now watching the back door, second by second, closer to closing out this game and taking a 1-0 edge in the series. 3 kills through for Mutineers. Is it enough to get in?
It might be.
They got the break. They got the break.
I think if you're Atlanta, I think you probably just rotate. Yeah, you're going to see where they spawn. With 15 seconds left, this is going to go back to that crates area. They need 5 more seconds. Now it's just all these kills middle of the map, and it's Abizi who's able to stop down that rotation. We talked about Simp, his slow start. Well, he's back. We saw him on a 5 spree in that restaurant. Now he's +1.
He's 3 and 9 or something in that realm. Yeah, he's certainly turned up, but this is it. This is the game.
Florida's got to go. They got to go.
Push. Can the break come through? Kill feed lighting up red.
He's trying to buy
that
time.
might be it. Skies can't finesse. FaZe close it out. And they'll take the 1-0 lead in this best of 5. But I'll tell you what, Mutineers, that was a nail biter. They played them tough.
Yeah, a great game out of them. But I think the one play that really stuck out to us was that Major Maniac play in pool hall, right? The 20 seconds is the difference maker, and he goes off for Atlanta FaZe. 29 kills. He leads the way for them. Yes, we talk about all the other players, but at one point, Major Maniac, he steps up. This is why I love having him on the team.
Well, I'm going to take a look at the scuff play of the game. It's got to be Major Maniac inside of the hard point. How do you answer a triple from Havoc with 4 of your own? What a play it was. Let's take a look at it.
Slides in first, like, well, we missed the first 2 kills as he's able to get that entry, but the nade comes through. Major Maniac allows him to break inside of that pool hall. We missed a few of those kills, but
hey,
that was the play.
He got 4 total, though. What a brilliant display of skill from Major Maniac. It's funny because we talked about maybe like what an easy job he sort of has on this team. Well, there you saw when he needs to step it up, when he needs to be the playmaker, when Simp is having a slow game, Major Maniac can get it done as well. And that now pushes FaZe out to 9-1 in hard point. That's tough to deal with.
Yeah, and then I think on the other side for Florida, right, we touched on Pharaoh, the role he's going to have to play. I think he finished like 20-32. So they still played him very close. You had, Mox and Skies who were playing well. Frosty as well had a great start to that game. But, we talked about how this really isn't his normal role. He typically runs that flex position where he can use that AR. So a rough map for Pharaoh.
Well, before we get into the search and destroy, I want to take a look at some of the incredible plays from last week in Atlanta. This is your PS4 top plays. Let's take a look. There's only 20 seconds on the clock. He can still make this play.
That's doable. He's going to have to get 1 kill.
Oh, the smoke.
Yeah, nice smoke to hang on to. Gunless going for the defuse. Formal watching over him, but the kill! The kill comes in. He plays the time, and Frosty has clutched it for Florida.
And Prestini inside the hill now, looking to do so much damage. There's 3 in a row for Prestini. He's not missing. Prestini, stop it! The man is on a rampage.
Looking for double digits that might just come straight through the door. There's number 10, topping himself off towards the end. Turns around, he wins the gunfight.
He himself saying he's been underperforming. Well, this is the performance you expect to see. 30, almost 14.
With 30 seconds remaining.
Yeah, they're just trying to bait out that player up top. Just find one. That's going to be Guerrillas. Trying to close in on one. Assault's going to go down. Big kill from Sim. In, out. Makes it a 2v2. This would be a huge, maybe swing ground here as Sim pushes forward, finds a Sim. Sim finds 1. Sim finds 3. And Sim goes huge.
You got Havoc, I think, just pushing straight through the smoke. He's just going for it. He's going to cause chaos.
Wait.
Behind enemy lines already.
How did he not hear him? I don't know, but he finds a free kill on JCap. Dashy's not going to expect this at all. The strat, throw your smokes and fly.
Just 30 seconds to work with. Prestini, your bomb carrier. He should be able to get this down. Nobody's starting to push over now, but over the top. What a nade from Inboy.
Here it is. Look at that.
I'm so glad we get to see this. Woo! What a nade that is.
All right, we're getting ready for the search and destroy. FaZe versus Mutineers. I believe we're going to be heading to Arklov. And when you think about this, well, okay, when you think about any map and mode matchup, the numbers aren't going to look good for you against FaZe. But how does it break down here?
Yeah, I mean, Florida is 1-3 on this map. Obviously, a lot of repetitions, a lot of, you learn from your mistakes the more times you play it. But on the Atlanta FaZe side, you are undefeated on this map. So they know exactly what they want to do. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be a tough one for Florida.
6-1 in search with 3-0 right on this particular map. So not only are they good on it, but almost half of their search and destroy has been played here. So it's a map that they've got a lot of reps on. I know we saw some big moments here from Mutineers. They had some crazy scenes back at the Atlanta home series, but what is their maybe key to victory when you just specifically talk about search and destroy on Arklov Peak against FaZe?
I mean, you're undefeated, right? Or for Florida.
Yeah, for Florida. Like, they're going to get the upset.
I mean, we're going to have to see what Pharaoh's able to do, right? I mean, he's known as a search and destroy superstar, right? That's how he got into this scene. We'll see how he plays. And I think for Florida, it's just going to be like sort of stick to your basics, because typically your normal rotations and what you want to do with Prestini, it's going to be a lot different. That pacing is going to be different.
How hard do you think it is for somebody like Pharaoh, even though he is sort of an S&D guru, we know how good he's been in the past, but how hard is it to slot in this quickly with 4 random guys in a sense?
It's almost like you might be at the point where you can just sort of put him on an island. Maybe you just have him do his own thing and the 4 other guys go the other way, right? You stick to those Florida strategies that they have and allow Pharaoh, maybe he snipes, right? We've seen him have great sniping plays in the past. Just do whatever you want.
Some of his snipes in Call of Duty World War II with the quick scopes he would hit on a map like Arden Forest were some of the craziest plays of the year. So, yeah, he had many. That was, what was that, back to, was it the Stage 2 playoffs where he went off? He was maybe the MVP of that particular weekend. He's had some moments. I think it was a surprise to a lot of us that, he wasn't in a starting lineup with, the top prospect comments that we see follow him around. It's going to be interesting to see what he can do. But what's terrifying for this Mutineers team, when you take a look at the overall stats for Search and Destroy, KD, at 1, you've got Simp. At 5, you've got Celium, and the stats are absurd.
Yeah, no Florida players there, right? two FaZe players. Yeah, I mean, when you have that 6-1 record, 3-0 on this map, you know you're going to have some of the top KDs. And, well, yeah, it's none other than Simp, and we know what he can do in Search.
And I think they were one of the teams, when we switched from the 2-minute round timer to the 90-second round timer, they were one of the people that was really, pumped about it. I think Simp is the guy that tweeted that said, good, less camping. They just want to fly, right? Yeah. They want to play at a fast pace. And Arclaw Peak, where maybe it punished some teams with the fact that you can't really slow it down, if anything, it just helped FaZe, I would think. He's ready to go. He's like, yeah, I started 3-9, but I turned it around.
Yeah, I mean, they got the map victory, right? And, you can have that slow map 1, but they're still able to get that victory. And now the blood's pumping a little bit, right? They're back on the stage. You win that hard point, and yeah, now they're in the zone.
That is what worried me, though. When you saw he was 3-9 and it was a 3-point game or whatever it was, it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
That's not going to continue. It's not going to continue. To be fair, though, yeah, it really just all came down to that pull haul hold. If they get all that time and they're looking at a tie game, maybe that goes a little bit differently. You don't have to scramble as much for position at restaurant. And then when you think about the rotation to shipping, you got a better shot. But Major Maniac made the play, and it was a brilliant one at that. I think just dealing with maybe a little bit of a tech issue before we hop into the map, too. Thank you at home and in the venue for your patience. But we'll get right into this series as quickly as we can. And yeah, it's Mutineers versus FaZe now, but we've got, 8 total best-of-5s today.
It's a long day.
Yeah, it is going to be a gauntlet here in Los Angeles. And I think there's just a couple key stories we're excited for. I mean, is FaZe going to be able to go back-to-back? Is Optic going to finally show up? Will the LA improve, the LA Guerrillas improve with that roster? I mean, there's so many things we're interested in, and we get to start off with a rematch of our final in Atlanta.
Yeah, then I think as well is sort of like the fight for the final, right? You have Dallas, you have Minnesota. Who's going to be facing Atlanta? That's going to be the interesting part.
We have Optic.
What are we doing here? All right, are we warming up
Simpson's
still?
warming up his thumbs. He's warming up his thumbs.
Yeah, it's like the Ogre Twitch, right? It's the same thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think he knows his shot was a little bit off.
It's just
in that map 1.
Well, it usually takes you about, like 6 hours?
Yeah, 6 hours. When you're 35 years old, that's when you get to your sweet spot. 6 hours into the stream.
And that lasts about 4 minutes. So.
Yeah, no, my peak is not long, Joe. It's not long, but it's good.
Yeah, here you have an A stack from Florida. You have one player playing mid, another one going to rotate back to B. But that's going to be first blood for Frosty. He just gets right in a broken. And they're going to push off of that. They're going to see nobody else off here. This is just so much information, just funneling FaZe into the middle of the map.
Yeah, you got to like that pressure on defense from Frosty and the Mutineers. Sky's like, screw it, let's keep it going.
Yeah, I mean, just take some risks, right? Why not?
You think maybe you slow it down once you get the first 2 kills, but they say screw it, and they're just soaring at them. Nice shots from Skies as Celium's brains get splattered. Oh. Simp almost hits the shot, but Skies puts in enough damage to give him a little bit of flinch there. Now it's Simp, though, in a 1 versus 5. And he's dead. Great opening round on defense from Florida.
They just go for it. I mean, they do the A stack. If Atlanta, they obviously don't know, but if they throw a blind counter middle of the map and towards B side, they would have the bomb down. It was wide open, but Florida, they take the risk, and the risk pays off on that first defense.
And maybe that's the strategy you go with when you have a sub filling in like this. Take some risk, gamble in some rounds. There you saw it massively pay off. It was Frosty's 2 to start it up, and then Sky's mid-map with the pressure as well to get 2 more. The round was over essentially before it started. Now what can they show us on offense?
Well, and there is that middle of the map, so you have one player, Priesta, inside of B. He's got a lot to work with. Celium on the other side, he's going to get picked. So a nice first blood for Pharaoh, and he's just going to keep this going. But it's really on Priesta. What kind of play can he make? He's going to be the guy. He's able to find 2, trying to play his life. He knows there could be another one side window. Hello! That's going to be 3 for Priesta.
Priesta with the play in the sight and just able to stay alive. But what a moment it was. The site gets locked down at B as Priesta goes huge. Bomb down front door, round control to FaZe. That was special.
You think that's got to be coordinated a little bit better maybe from you know, that's where you talk about where the substitution comes in. You would love for Pharaoh to hit the window the same time they open the door, right? A bit of a sandwich. But instead, Priesta, he's able to make the play. There was just no trade.
Well, usually when we talk about you being in that spot, once you lose your outskirts player, it's like, can you get 1 kill before you die?
Yeah, that's it.
You maybe get 2. To get 3 and stay alive, you just don't often see that. And that's one of those frustrating rounds for Mutineers. Yeah, you're going to take some gambles. Yeah, your time is going to be off. But when you have that 5v4 edge, you got to think you can get a bomb planted and take a 2-0 edge in this search and destroy. That's not going to be the case, though.
That's one of those rounds, too, where it's such an early pick at B. And you have mid-map control. You know Atlanta, they're going to have to rotate off that kill. Maybe that's when you wrap it back to A, right? You still have a lot of time to work with.
Yeah.
Simp just misses that shot, but there is the same thing out of Florida.
Got to warm his thumb up, or got to warm the thumb up. Just a hair off right now.
Priesta does not need to warm up.
He does not, as he keeps flying on through. Now up to 5-1. And Gulch control there for him for now. Simp still trying to desperately find that angle, another pick. As they continue to work their way up the map, Priesta trying to look for any kind of opening.
Yeah, 40 seconds to work with. You have 1 player working up middle of the map. That's going to be Moss trying to work the flank. But I mean, with the time remaining, Atlanta, they're going to have to commit to this site. Still, maybe just waiting on Simp to open things up with a pick. But there's the flank. What is Mox able to find? You saw he had dead silence popped. If he pops out right now, he'd be able to get a kill. He's going to find Celium. That's all he has to do. I like this for Mox. Just play your life.
I mean, luckily for FaZe, he'd have an angle on multiple players.
Yep. Bomb planted though.
Now they've got to go. The challenge not going to work out for Pharaoh. He gets chopped down. Mox picked up on the flank, and another Atlanta FaZe round win. Or the last time these guys played Search, it went to 10 rounds. I think it was 6-4, so we know Mutineers can play them tough. I think they benefited a lot there. That how many times have we seen that flank where you get 2 or 3 kills?
Yeah.
Like they all just line up in front of you.
Priesta, you know, he's sort of holding the inside of that bunker, so he's not able to get spotted. Yeah, that could have gone a lot differently. Is Atlanta now with 2 rounds in a row. Florida back on offense.
Well, Havoc wants to go a mid-map, but he's greeted by the Simtex. Nades in top and looking for an opening. I believe a similar defensive setup we have in for FaZe right now as the mid-map stack starts to inch its way forward. Havoc and Frosty have got to work in tandem.
Yeah, this time I think you saw Priesta. He's upstairs actually this time, so he's going to work the stairs. But he has Major Maniac and Abizi to help him out. They're able to get those rotations in.
It feels like Mutineers there got to mid-map and just didn't know what to do.
Didn't know what to do. Well, you don't have that pick. You don't have the pick, right? You don't have the pick. But yeah, you don't know how to execute. The chemistry's off, right? That's what's gonna happen when you have a new player.
We're after a brilliant defensive round to start off this map too. It has been all FaZe now 3 rounds in a row, and many of them dominated from the outset. Who's crushing right now? I mean, well, Priesta. 7-2 from Priesta. That big 3-kill round, obviously a huge part of that. Then a first blood in the following round 3.
Very spread offense again from Atlanta. And well, there's going to be a first blood.
And who else? Priesta.
And now that was just so early. How do they want to play this? They can regroup and hit either site. Just taking their time. Simp trying to find a pick. On the other side, you do have Pharaoh with a sniper, so we'll see what he's able to do.
Celium just gets eyes on one deep outskirts. Now how does FaZe execute the mid-map? Some damage in, but Frosty, he actually hits the shot over the top. It's not on the Priesta, but he, I believe, gets a headshot on the Major Maniac. Simp, though, at the same time, connects with his grenade. You see the flashing silhouettes. There's dead silence out for multiple players. That's going to mean Frosty is in trouble as Priesta is able to push the edge and now get out to 9-2. It's just Mox and Skies remaining. In a 2 versus 4, making a 1v4. Skies, sir, you're in trouble. Your position is known. You're last alive, and FaZe are on the hunt.
I just love the way Atlanta knows where all the rotations are going to be, right? They knew that Skies was going to hit the middle from Broken. They knew Mox was going to come up the stairs, and they were just ready for him. As soon as they take mid-map away from Florida, they know where Florida has to respond with, and that's it. It's done.
And I think with the shorter round timer even more, like you kind of know how to dial in that time, right?
Yeah.
I think when you add 30 seconds onto it, the timings get a little bit more awkward. You have more time to play with, but with less time on the clock, like you know when you're going to funnel them in. You saw how prepared they were. Priest a 9-2. He's got basically as many kills as the rest of his squad. I think they have, what, 10 or 11 on the board. He is frying. And there we go. That is 3 first bloods now for Priesta. Quality beams in from him as he hits the shots.
And just line on up for him, and he continues to move forward. Still has Dead Silence popped as it was able to reset. He's going to flank one player. This should be his 3rd kill of the round. Well, never mind. aBeZy takes it away from him. But a 4 versus 2.
Dude, aBeZy's twisted. What is he even doing? He was just dancing.
They just slide everywhere. They literally just slide. I don't even know if they know what they're doing. I just
hands must keep moving.
Yeah, just keep moving.
Like you go to Sky's POV, he's like ADS.
Yeah.
Just set up in this corner. Look at this corner.
Yep.
aBeZy's about to smash his left stick through his own controller.
Just putting his head through a wall.
Sky's again, last alive. 20 seconds ago, he's got bomb, but not gonna matter. Out to the statue goes FaZe, 5 in a row, with Priesta accounting for 3 first bloods across those 5 rounds and the big 3K inside the site.
I mean, yeah, you had the first round from Florida. You had the man advantage where Priesta was able to go off. I mean, you've been in some of these rounds, but Atlanta just a little bit too strong in everything.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's a great breakdown there, Joe.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty accurate. Quadruple positive is Priesta within this map too. He wasn't even on the S&D leaderboard. It was what, Simp and Celium that were there.
Could be there now.
Yeah, he might very well be after this map. You gotta think the number's pretty easy to impact still. We've only played 7 search and destroys.
All the nades coming over, and with that, Pharaoh, he's going to get spotted by aBeZy. Nice shot from aBeZy that allows Priesta to move up with that bomb, and he's just going to get it down, but he's going to spot one. Frosty doesn't know it. Almost doesn't finish the kill.
Just finishes it. That got a little bit scarier than maybe it needed to, but Priesta now will get the plan in this round. May close out the map too. It's just a Mox and Havoc to try and make the play. Priesta wants to surge forward. Tally onto this massive map 2 he's had, but he will get caught by Havoc. And perhaps that'll give them a chance to get back in this round, but 30 seconds on the bomb timer.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. They have about 4 layers they have to go through. They're able to take down 2, but it's just really the time is the issue. Plus you have Simp all the way in the back of the map with that sniper rifle exactly where he wants to be. aBeZy's just checking the bomb, and that's going to do it.
Nothing you can do. Simp tucked away so deep. Just no time for Mox's FaZe. They clean it up. They dominate the search and destroy. It's a 6-1 victory, 6 rounds in a row. A clinic from Priesta. And my God, do they look good in search.
Yeah, what, 4-0 undefeated on that map now, right? So that streak continues, but you can see why. They just look so comfortable.
Maybe don't play them there.
Yeah, where else do you play them, right?
That's a good point, yeah. But I do want to take a look at the overall stats from that map too. Priesta 13-4. aBeZy
6-1.
He was trying to keep twisted because he only had 1 death. I mean, not a ton of interaction.
He was just sliding around on like a sled, it feels like. Their knees have to hurt, right, after all that?
Dude. I think they probably do, but they dominate the game too. They're looking to close this out in a 3-0 fashion. All FaZe to start the weekend. I think that was the expectation, but Simp is feeling good. Simp happy after that map 2 and map 1. Well, it's funny because he turns it around in map 1, but he's what, 2-2 here. Like Simp hasn't needed to be a huge factor, it feels like, in these 2 games.
Yeah, he doesn't have to, there's no shots that are given to him, and he's just like, you know what, good job, team.
Yeah, it's like, all right,
go.
Pick it up for me, pick it up for me.
That's why I love this team.
Yeah, exactly the case. But now 7-1 in search and destroy is FaZe up 2-0, looking to continue the run at this tournament. We're live from LA. We'll be right back after this quick break.
Tournament audio and team chat listenings are brought to you by Astro Gaming, the official headset and mixam of the Call of Duty League. Join the Astro family and pre-order the CDL A40 TR headset and Pro Team speaker tags today at astrogaming.com. The US Army. What's your warrior?
Holy hell, Los Angeles is beautiful. Joe, will you move
just
here
like
with me?
you.
Oh, thank you, Joe. That's some premium gasoline there. But will you move here? Maybe live in a nice little duplex with me, myself and Kat, with Copper, you, Lou, and Mo. We just live in basically one home together in Los Angeles.
On the beach?
Yes, I'm down with that.
Okay, yeah, I'm in.
Woo! I need to get a tan because I look like a ghost. If I didn't have makeup on, I would look horrible. But this is a U.S. Army tactical play. It's Priesta in round 2. Giving the Mutineers the business.
Yeah, and he just knew he had to make the play because Celium gets taken down by the window, but that's where you want to see something a little bit different. You saw Pharaoh at the window. You want him to hit that the same time you're going to hit the front door, so that doesn't happen because the two guys at the front, they are full sprinting, and, well, they get caught.
We know that there's going to be some wonky moments when you have a fill-in like this, but how much of a chance do you give to fix things quickly? Like, I mean, within this series, maybe?
No.
Okay.
It's going to take a lot of time, right? Especially just what Pristini does for this team. We know, like, he's a leader, he's a captain, so it's going to be tough to fill those shoes. It'll take a long time. Today could be a short day for Florida.
Yeah, well, we'll have to wait and see. So you don't give them much of a chance this weekend?
No. I don't. Do you?
It's understandable. No, I don't. Okay. I'm just asking you. You're the expert. I'm the idiot. Yeah. So that's why I got to ask you to break it down. But the domination KD's Octane, who will be in attendance this weekend, one of the best players to watch in the entire scene. He's at a 1.55. But again, you have 2 players from FaZe on the list. This time it's Simp and Abizi. Now, the one thing, if they have any weakness, you saw it in our keys to victory, it has been the domination. Maybe there they can improve. That is one of the only times you're ever going to see a stat line that's maybe close to another team right now because the 2 losses, but they're 4-2. Why do you think maybe that's where they've struggled a little bit?
So I think because, I mean, obviously the dominations has changed quite a bit. And when you talk about this team, there's so much like fluidity, right? And maybe with those changes, there's been a couple of bumps. But to me, yes, they're 4-2. But those 2 losses are probably when they were up 2-0 in a series. So the big domination game they had to win was versus Minnesota and Atlanta, and they were able to win it. It feels like when these guys have to win domination, they do.
Yeah, and not that 4-2 is a bad win rate at all. I mean, that's still great, especially when you've been so good in your search and destroy and your hard point. But I still think it's a thing worth watching, just because if there is any vulnerability, maybe that is it. But it's hard to talk about it being a vulnerability when they're 4-2.
That'll be interesting, too. You know, like we talked about earlier, we're going to Gunrunner. We didn't see a lot of this. I don't know if we saw any of this in Atlanta. It was a ton of St. Petro and Acne. We saw a few times. So, again, we touched on that where teams are going to try to switch up vetoes, catch people off guard. We'll see how FaZe plays this one. Well, and maybe this is a better map for them.
And I think part of the reason we haven't seen it as much as we know how chaotic it can be. Like the last time you and I commentated this, it was insane. It was absolute chaos around the map. There were like 60 captures.
Yeah, don't ask me anything.
All right.
No, I'm just kidding.
I'll refrain from that.
I'll try.
Well, we'll see if maybe FaZe has worked to improve it a little bit, because I think we were commentating them when that happened last time. Like, it was just an absolute clown fiesta on the map. We'll see if they've improved, and I believe last time we commentated too is where you could only solo cap with 1 player. Now, obviously, you can hop it together, but I feel like that's going to feed into maybe even more craziness, if anything.
Well, both teams going to get that home flag. You have Havoc working up middle. But it's going to be Priesta who's going to come out on top, and you can see instantly he goes on this pinch, and this is going to allow his team to get on B. He's already cutting off the players off spawn as well. And, well, with that, you're going to see Atlanta FaZe immediately get up in the face of Florida.
His movement is just absurd right now. Finally, he will drop, but a great opening moment from Priesta, which is going to allow them to put pressure to spawn and get the B cap in. And who's right up next behind him? Abizi gets to this power position towards the minecarts, finds himself an MB4, putting down damage at range. And now you got to think about what you want to do. Do you want to overextend to C? Because you're just trapped towards this back spawn at A. By getting the kill onto Abizi, maybe opens up for a moment, but then immediately in on the flank with the pressure is Priesta.
That's just what's so tough, right? It's like you deal with Abizi, then you have to deal with Sim. You deal with Sim, then you have to deal with Priest. And you can see in the kill feed. Next up with Sim, he's able to find 2 kills. Now it's Priest's turn. He is inside the base. They wanted to flip this. Now they can get on A. You see where Florida spawns all the way back C. In Florida, they're going to try to get C, but they want to try to hang on towards A. They're going to push up towards Forest with Celium. Hello, see ya later with the assassination.
Ah, Frosty gets butchered as Celium puts him down. You gotta love that. And Abizi follows it up in the bathrooms, but they're not able to actually get A. They weren't actually able to get the point, so they're still gonna hold on to B, but it's a 2-cap now for Mutineers as FaZe are gonna have to battle BAP. Let's go to an Astro Gaming listen-in with FaZe.
Pushing up, I think. I'm going mid. Watch out. Hey, Dan. Nice, cap. Short. Push out secret. Cap it. Nice, I'm short. Push. Go my pipes. I'm in pipes. Short. I stun him short. Stun. Two needed. One shot, Havoc. Secret.
I see it.
I'm behind him.
On the move.
I'm holding bathroom. I have right. I have the A-cross right now. Nice. Oh, open train on me.
Where's your bitch?
Mike, you're a fucking bitch. Whoever's in it, you have it? I have right. I'm blocking. There's 3 left. They're hitting B.
Yeah, they're hitting B. One shot. There's 2 secret.
There's 2 secret. Right. Nice.
Nice, Mike. Good job.
I'm going C. Go B, guys. Go B.
Last one here.
Yeah, block. Make sure you're blocking.
I'm secret blocking.
FaZe already plus 15 in the slang department. Now looking to push a 3-cap, but Major Mania can't quite get there. What looked like a close game just moments ago. Now FaZe starting to really open up the lead and push the tempo.
Yeah, they're able to get the AB flip, which they want, right? Because as soon as you have them spawning back C, you can get the neutral at C, you can get the 3-cap going. You basically put Florida in a really tough spawn situation, and you can see in the kill feed why. All 5 going to go down. That's going to give them map pressure, and now you have a player on C. So what does Florida have to do? They have to respond on both sides of the map, and it's just so difficult to do right now. In Florida, you have Mock struggling at 1 and 8.
It's one of the most frustrating things, like from your career, when you're playing against a team where you don't have an easy gunfight. Is that a thing that you think about at all? Where every fight is just tough?
It just feels like there's like more than the amount that are on the map, right? Like it feels like there's more than 5 of them. Everything is just difficult to do.
I think when I was asking you if you would come back and compete, you're like, I don't want to play FaZe.
I'll be Major Maniac, but I'm good.
The lead nearly 30 now with 50 seconds remaining. FaZe looking to put a stamp on this series and prove their domination over the competition yet again. I know it's just the first match of Saturday, but they haven't slowed down a bit.
No, right, it's just a different player. I think it was Celium who's going off, in this map. Just feels like at any moment, one of them can take over. Yeah, I mean, he's 19, he's on a 10 spree, he's 20 and 5.
Major Maniac in the map 1, Priest in the map 2, now Celium in the map 3. Quad positive. That's actually twice I've said that now this series. If you're talking about quadruple positive for anyone, that's a problem.
It's pretty good.
They might lose a couple of points, but not going to matter much as they're going to be up nearly 40 points as Celium will take this big streak into the half. 20 and 5, 10 in a row. Your MVP from Atlanta once again putting on an MVP-like show here in Los Angeles.
The tough part for Florida as well, I mean, they're just spawning on the side of the map that they wanted, right? You want the AB setup. You want them spawning C, and FaZe, they're able to flip it. Now they have this 30-point lead. They're spawning on the good side. Everything right now is in FaZe's favor.
Well, let's stick with Celium as I want to see how far he can push this streak. I think he's actually what got it up to 11 now. What's the biggest streak we've seen so far? Somewhere like around 15, somewhere in that ballpark, yeah. I think. Well, I'm curious to see if Celium can pass that. Here we go.
At this point, I'm just playing for it.
All right, well, it resets on the HUD, so we're going to have to keep track of it. We're at 12.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, well, it's done at 12.
Well, Simp, he's going to be on B, but you see with all of Florida's position, all 5 players, they're going towards A. They're going to try to get this flag. And at this point, I think if you're FaZe, you just take C. It's not that big of a deal. You have such a large lead. You keep the game scrappy. That's exactly what they do. Simp and Abizi, they're able to get the trades towards that A side. Or sorry, C side. That's going to give them CB setup. So you still have 2.
We were talking about the positives of FaZe in the first half. I didn't realize that Mox only put up 4 kills. That's less than a kill a minute.
No, he was like 1 in 9 at one point. Yeah,
that's less than a kill a minute. That is struggle city. You're not having fun. You're not enjoying playing the game at all at that point.
I don't know if anyone would enjoy playing the game against FaZe. Like, honestly, I don't know if there's much enjoyment in that.
It's funny, we hear some teams don't even scrim them because they just get smoked and they don't feel like they're learning anything.
Yeah, well, those teams are idiots.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. Get smoked, get better. Skies, though, now 5 in a row for him. But unfortunately, when you take a look at the top middle of the screen, when you don't see any blue around A, B, or C, that's a problem. It's now a 3-cap in. They've got him spawning out back tracks. Major Maniac set up in the power position on the card as Simp goes soaring forward. Awkwardly gets some physical collision there. Otherwise, he may have had 2 line up for him. They're on A. They're on B. FaZe, I believe, able to pick the player off of the A site, so it'll still be 1 point for either side. FaZe look to rally back towards B, but it's a blowout right now on map 3.
I mean, you're already in a 50-point lead with 3 minutes left. You need a 3-cap. I mean, you're just it's the point of desperation for Florida. And if they don't pick up their slaying, it's just not going to happen. As FaZe continue to just keep it scrappy, they can just neutral flags. As FaZe, they have a few players towards that C side, but they're going to be able to capture B, and immediately off that, they respond by going towards that.
Well, speaking of responding, I don't think anyone had Mutineers winning this series, but the question now is how do you respond from this? Because remember, their first match was against what? London back in Atlanta. They got destroyed. Honestly, it was similar to this series. Like, they got throttled. The hard point was actually worse, if I remember correctly. Like, they got beat up, they got bruised, they got battered, but they bounced back. They were able to answer and they were able to make a run to a final. Do they have that in them again? But the problem is you don't have Pristini here.
You're also just in a very tough group, right? Like, you're in a very tough group here in this.
This is the toughest group we've had probably so far, right?
Yeah.
Florida, Dallas, Atlanta, like you've got just some beasts.
And we'll see how good New York will be later on with Happy too. We've heard some solid things. Heard scrims have been going well. Yeah, that's what everybody says. So
yeah, it's true. It's true. But when it's all said and done, yeah, this might be the hardest group we've had thus far. And you're going to see some easy groups. You're going to see some hard groups. I mean, just with the way it works, just for you at home, maybe not familiar with it. Like, it's not based on seeding. You know, it's based to mimic kind of what your league matches would be by setting it up with everybody playing each other once. So the groups are going to be interesting. It's something to keep an eye on. Like, and the big thing, though, I think is when you have those groups, those quote-unquote easier ones, when you need to take advantage of it, when you need to make a run, like all the pressure is on these squads to do it. Unfortunately for Florida this week, it's one that you look at your group and you say, oh, dear God, this is going to be an uphill battle starting early Saturday.
Well, now you look at the scoreboard, and that is a 37-point lead. And the knife comes out from Simp, and now it is mathematically impossible for Florida to get back into this one. They would need a 3-cap. They're not even close to that.
Yeah, no, that's why
even with the 3-cap,
that's why I was talking about groups, Joe, because this one's been done for a while.
Yeah.
This one felt like it was done in the first half, if we're going to be honest.
I think it was.
Yeah, FaZe have dominated here. Celium is pushed out to 29 and 12. What's the slight differential? 28. It's about 30, a little under 30 is the differential right now. You're not going to win any kind of respawn mode, well, any mode, when that's the case. Oh, as Celium does them dirty mid-map, puts the final dagger into the back of the Mutineers as they just smoke them in maps 2 and 3.
So about what we expected, right?
Yeah.
From Atlanta, how are you going to come out your first match? You come off a win, and you had maybe a slow start from a few players in that map 1, but after that map 1, they're able to squeeze it out. That's going to do it. They are warmed up. They are on point right now.
The favorites coming in. Still the favorites after that first series, reminding people with Coach Crowder on stage how good they can be. They're looking to go back-to-back, and so far, so good. I mean, I don't know how else to highlight it, man. They look dominant yet again.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to take a look at some stats, but it's pretty rough on one side. It's pretty great for the other side. That side's Atlanta FaZe.
Yeah, and Mox, you know, he's put in the blender early within that map 3, and I just don't think they're ever going to be able to beat a team like FaZe if that's going to be the case. You can't have a guy going 9-24, you have 12-26 from Havoc. I mean, it was ugly across the board. It got out of hand early, but you just can't beat a team like FaZe when that's the case.
34-13 from Celium.
That's
man.
absurd.
That is ridiculous from him. I mean, just what a performance. And yeah, I mean, what, map 1, it was Major Maniac. Map 2, it was Priesta. Map 3, it was Celium. We hardly talked about a BZ and Simp this series.
That's true, and that's what's, I think, so frightening about this team. When Simp is having pedestrian series and you're still blowing people out, it is terrifying, but Priesta was the hero of map 2, and we've got him on stage with Rich.
Yeah, it is time for your instant reaction, brought to you by PlayStation. And I actually want to talk about what the casters were just saying. I know you couldn't hear it, but there's just this idea with your team. If somebody isn't going off, one of you will. There is always going to be one person who is able to take over the game. What is it about this squad that allows you to do that?
Honestly, we're all just so talented that if one of us is not doing good, someone's going to pick up the slack. We're always running around together, so we're always going to have each other's trades. So whoever's going in first, they're losing their gunfights. The person behind them's probably going to be frying. So this works out for us.
This is a matchup that you guys had played relatively recently. Did you have to do any additional prep, or did it feel different when you actually got here to start off this tournament?
If anything, we were more confident just because we beat them last time we played them. We knew they had a new player, Pharaoh. He's a very good player, so we wanted to go in and not take this lightly and just go as hard as possible.
And now at this tournament, I mean, what's on your mind? You guys have looked pretty dominant thus far. Is there anything that you're concerned about moving forward?
We got to just stay on top of our stuff. We're looking really good in S&D as always, so just make sure we're on top of hard points and DOMs and just watching over as many VODs as we possibly can.
All right, well, so far it has been a recipe for success. Are we going to continue to see that this weekend? We're going to be finding out very soon. You don't want to go anywhere. More Call of Duty coming up after this.